So today I have maybe like 2 hours until I got to pick up my wife from the train station. So let's see who we meet today. It's my birthday, so it's been really awesome so far. I've been lucky enough to have had like a lot of cute messages sent out to me, all this love. So thank you so much everyone for your love, and yeah, I feel very blessed. And I'm about to pick up this guy named Ashok. So I'm excited to meet with him. I've been getting pretty good tips lately, so I'm excited for that. That's always a good sign when you get good tips. It's always rewarding. Still need to get back to everyone who was kind enough to send me a message. So that's gonna take some time, but yeah, it's been a fun day. Just like I also had a realization that I need to focus on revenue generating activities and yeah, need to focus more on the front end of the funnel. So that will be fun. And so yeah, sometimes being able to say no to a lot of other things. But this course that's coming out will be really good. I'm actually super excited about that. Oh, I got a message. All right, what did he say?
Yeah, man, that makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna watch the full podcast that you streamed live with her. Maybe I can get a little bit more insight. I didn't watch the full thing. Just been running back and forth trying to get a couple things done up at my end. Then I had to help Danielle out with her kids, so I wasn't home this whole week from last Thursday. I just got home yesterday. So, I'll reach back out to her and I'll see what the deal is, and I'll let you know for sure. And I'll watch that podcast. Glad you got so much birthday love, man. I hope you have the best one that you could possibly have, and have a little fun if you can. All right, talk to you soon.
Yeah, man, I hear you. It's definitely been a grind, man, but yeah, it's been fun. Definitely trying to have as much fun as I can, just single moment. And it's ups and downs. Like some days I feel on top of the world, I feel extremely blessed and lucky. And in other days I just feel paralyzed by the debt. And yeah, man, it's just hard not to beat yourself up, when you're kind of like in this weird in between stage. But thank you, my brother. It's always good to hear your voice, man. And keep up the good work, bro. Your positive quotes and affirmations, all that stuff, man. It's freaking gold. So keep it up, and we'll chat soon. All right. So Ashok Kumar is his name. Let's see. Uh, he's half a mile away, just a straight shoot. Let's see, is this at work? I don't know, I'm curious. That was my buddy Mike Denity. He's a good dude. Yeah, so about an hour and a half until I probably should seriously be careful so I'm not getting to pick up my wife too late. But today, yeah, it's been interesting. I made a bold request and reached out to like a bunch of folks that I used to work with at LinkedIn. A bunch of folks in leadership are pretty high up or have been there for a while. Um, so hopefully they're able to help me out. But oh, my friend said something really nice. So nice of her. Oh, just pick someone up. Oh, there he is. All right, I see him. Ashok arrive. Hi. Hello. Oh, hello.
No,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no worries. Yeah, you're probably not used to it, right?
Actually, one time I used, but not used to for.
uh, okay.
It's only just push, right?
Yeah, yeah. You push it, and then once you do it, it's like easy, but the
It's
first time is always hard.
uh,
Yeah.
just little push, and then it's automatic open, right?
Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's like you push in one end and then it's like you push inwards. I guess
Uh-huh.
most people are used to pulling outwards,
Yeah.
but what all you have to do is push inwards and then it'll open. Yeah.
Mostly Tesla is very little time I saw in lead time, right?
Oh, the Tesla?
Yeah.
You don't see it too often, you're saying?
Yeah, because I don't use too much lead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, is your car in the shop or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this,
Mhm.
uh, are you open to it?
Actually, my visit is medical doctor today.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm retired.
Oh, cool, very cool. Um, so are you open to like so just for context, you know what like YouTube is, right?
Huh?
Like you're familiar with YouTube, the social media platform YouTube?
Yeah, I use YouTube, but on social media, I'm not active.
Okay, okay.
I always see YouTube and every day.
Are you okay with me asking you questions for for my YouTube channel?
Your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Oh, I am always see in evening time. So I one second.
Oh yeah, yeah. No worries, take your time.
Are you from Korea, China, Japan,
My family's from Vietnam.
Vietnam? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh no, 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 it's okay.
Vietnam people, I like.
Yeah. And are you from India?
Yeah,
Where's it? Ah,
Vietnam people struggle too much in before, but I now I don't know.
yeah, yeah. A lot of my mom
Lot
does.
of war like that.
Yeah.
I not remember, but I think so that I might remember.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Before it was too much suffered this country, right?
Yeah.
Your country.
Yeah, my mom came here back in the 80s, as a refugee from the Vietnam War.
Oh,
Yeah, so she was a refugee, so she went all over and then she moved here because
so you born here, right?
yeah, I was born here, like in South Jersey.
So you are born here, then you are a, citizen of your this country.
Yeah.
So you are lucky.
I'm pretty Americanized, but yeah, my mom and my dad were born in Vietnam. And yeah, like you said, it was tough, like because when they left, the government would just take all their gold, like take their money, because like the Communist Party was this.
Sorry, I don't understand because you are little speaking fast. So
Oh, slow down.
yeah, no, no, little slow because
Okay,
my English is not so good, not fluent. So it's a
it's
problem.
pretty good. Your English is pretty good.
What you say? Your parents'
So
money?
yeah, my parents came here back in the 1980s, and they
80s or 90?
the 80s.
80s, yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened?
So we when they moved here, a lot of their friends that tried to escape Vietnam ended up dying from like being refugees, like escaping the country. And they would go on the boats and sometimes like
So they go back to Vietnam,
no, 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 like when they moved here to the US.
like they stay here like refugee,
Yeah, yeah, yep.
and then what you say?
And then so my mom does nails for a living, like like people's nails, like a manicurist.
Something happened wrong? No, no, I don't. Actually, I don't understand.
Oh, no, I was just saying how I think you said that a lot of Vietnamese people struggle, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that I can understand
yeah, so,
because refugee and
yeah,
sometime in Uganda people,
mm,
the my country people, India people in
yeah,
I don't know 70 or 80.
yeah,
Then they say leave the country suddenly today and
mm,
today at
yeah,
a time at a moment,
yeah,
and suddenly somebody go to London, England,
mm,
British, somebody come to maybe here,
Yeah.
but they all become a good life and
Mm.
their future.
Yeah.
But your parents have to struggle too much, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. They struggled a lot.
Oh,
But me and my sisters, because we went to college here, we all went to Rutgers. Me and my two sisters.
you study at Rutgers?
Yeah.
My son also studied in Rutgers, and he's an engineer, and he's
Oh.
working in Trenton now.
Oh. Okay.
And one another son is working. He is actuarial science, and he's like finance, and he's working in New York right now.
Oh. Oh. Nice. That's good.
But what happened? One thing is I don't like because when I came for my wife and two children
Mhm.
before 16 years
Uh-huh.
in 2008.
Yeah.
I am pharmacist in my
Oh.
country. I have
Oh.
two pharmacy,
Yeah.
one retail, one wholesale. I didn't want to come here because I know struggle and everything.
Mm.
And I have too much chronic problem for
Huh.
back pain and all the back,
Mm.
like arthritis, fibromyalgia.
Huh.
So I don't work since 2013.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So uh, in this country, if you don't earning anything,
Mm.
then now what's happened? My two son, my wife
Mhm.
become changed. Their mind become changed. That my money, your money,
Uh.
my house, my car.
Mm.
Like they doing started doing like this.
Huh.
Then they earning my son, both son, is earning around more than 100,000
Mhm.
per year
Yeah.
since long time. Like now they are one is 30, one is 33, 34.
Uh.
But as they now going to marry.
Oh,
One is
yes.
married just before 2 weeks.
Oh.
Because we people after the money, now all the people after the money and for the money.
Yeah.
People don't enjoy their life.
Hmm.
So I am a satisfactory man.
Yeah.
And we our community only married one time all over
Mm.
the throughout the life.
Mm.
Even my wife no good with me right now
Mm.
or after coming to this country.
Mm.
Even though I have to neglect them or I can't do anything.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, not he.
Oh, the next one?
Yeah, this.
Where?
Sorry,
Oh, it's okay. This
because
is
in
this
no,
one?
no, it's right. I'm
Uh.
so sorry. Right, you are right.
Oh, this one or
Yeah.
down or this opening?
Inside little.
Oh, a little bit more.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Oh, right here, right?
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
So
Uh.
my wife and two son is changed.
Oh.
They
Huh.
say my money, our money, and my
Huh.
son, two son and my wife mutual understanding, three people,
Mm.
and I am alone.
Huh.
So
Oh
even I am
wow.
getting me and my wife getting food stamp. You know
Mm.
food stamp,
Yes. Yes.
SNAP.
Yep.
So, but my part food stamp and my wife, uh, they use my food stamp also. They people
Uh.
use.
Huh.
And when I call today or this month or before, then food stamp people say, no, we can't do anything because
Uh.
you are living with your wife, with your son.
Oh.
If
Huh.
you go separate, then we can do something.
Oh, interesting.
So
Huh.
in this country is law and
Yeah.
every in the world, uh, law and order and
Mm.
everything in favor of lady
Huh.
and the children.
Yeah. Huh.
So, like you and me, if married people or gentlemen or male people
Yeah.
has to suffer,
Mm.
this is the very bad. Unfortunately, this thing
Huh.
happen.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing.
I'm
Um.
so sorry I'm disturbing you.
No, no, no. You're good. Oh, yes. So, yep. You press that. Yep. This one. Oh, this one.
No, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Yeah, and then you just push it.
Oh,
Yeah. I know
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Okay.
And we people still living together.
Mm.
I'm not going to marry because I'm 67. and
Uh,
nobody will marry also to me. If I have saving
yeah.
for my no problem,
Hmm.
because we people, when our good time
Hmm.
or good earning, then we
Hmm.
people save some money.
Yeah.
And my still two pharmacy in my country, one wholesale, one retail.
Oh.
But my friend,
Hmm.
my three brother over there, and when I come before 16 years,
Hmm.
on the day um, my leaving to country, my flight,
Yeah.
that day, they my two big son,
Hmm.
big brother, they take my sign for
Oh.
power of attorney.
Hmm. Wow.
So my four house
Oh.
means together.
Wow.
We are together joint family, and
Oh.
two pharmacy,
Huh.
one big one for wholesale,
Yeah.
one retail. But in nowadays, everybody hook or crook, they
Hmm.
wants money and money only.
Hmm.
That is the main problem.
Hmm. Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Have a good
And
day.
God bless you.
Thank you.
And very pleased to meet you.
Yeah. Likewise. Have a good
Thank you,
day.
brother.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh. Okay. Wait. Okay. Oh, so I'm heading out to Hillsborough, which is oh wow, this is gonna be a much longer ride. I just realized,
Turn
but
right on State Highway
should be good
27.
money though, actually. So yeah, I guess if I don't make it back in time, I guess I have to tell my wife I won't be able to make it. But hopefully she'll understand. Um, yep. Okay. So that was interesting. It sounds like he is having a tough time with the marriage, and I think what he's trying to communicate to me is like in America, everyone's like greedy, and like so many people just care about money, which that's unfortunate. Just to be able to reflect on that. So yeah, oh man, that broke my heart that he feels this way, but I get it. It sounds like he's been through the ringer with everyone trying to get his money. Uh, it's a shame, but that's life. Hey, thanks, G-Big. Yeah, it's been interesting. A lot of ups and downs, but that's life. Hope you're doing well. We had a good time with Davis and hung out with my big recently as well, so it was good to see everyone. When are you gonna be back in Jersey? Uh, Hope you're doing well, and we'll chat soon. Oh,
Turn left on
man,
Cortelius Lane.
yeah, that was a lot to be with, but I guess I'm glad that we had the space for him to share all that. It sounded like he really needed to get that off his chest. So, oh shit, I gotta let my wife know. Hey babe, sorry, you might have to get a ride back on your own because I have a pretty long drive, but hopefully I think I'm gonna make good money on this like really long ride. Okay, babe, I'll let you know when I get back, but I don't think I'm gonna make it back on time, but I'm trying to make like a decent amount of money today, so sorry, love. I'll see you soon. Mwah. Alrighty, Ann. Aw, she said, "Hey, man, Sour, what's good, homie?" My friend just sent me a happy birthday message. She said, "Hey, happy birthday! I hope you have a nice day today and get to celebrate your son. Big hugs to vibes. Cheers to another trip around the sun." Okay. Hey, oh my God, can't wait to hear about your trip. Yeah, I just sent out a message to like a bunch of LinkedIn managers and like folks I used to work with at LinkedIn that I had a good relationship with who are on the leadership side. So hopefully that'll expedite the process and hope you're having fun in Vegas. Definitely going to be a lot of FOMO for sure. Um, what's going on with you? How is Europe? I think I saw some photos. I haven't been on social media as much, like mostly just like posting content. But thank you so much for everything. I miss you too. It's been it's been a wild ride, but yeah, hopefully I'll be able to land on my feet and be able to work with you soon. That'd be great. Cheers. Bye. Mm, so for context, I reached out to a bunch of folks at LinkedIn where I used to work, and yeah, a lot of good, a lot of good, ooh, a lot of good. Hopefully they're able to help me out. What did he say? Oh hell yeah, dude! I love that. Able to navigate. I know it's not easy.
Sounds good, brother. Appreciate you so much. I'm happy that you're able to navigate everything. I know that it's not easy. I think I'm going through something similar, just on maybe a little bit of a smaller scale, but it's still like 35K in the hole. Not working right now, so I kind of understand how it is. You know, I have a girlfriend who's making pretty good money, thank goodness, and she's pretty supportive of things that she wants to do, and brings me along with her, because when I was making money, I always took care of her. So it's good to know that it's reciprocal. But still, you know, would love to be in about the 150 range or something along those lines. Would be really comfortable for me, with the option to kind of scale and build my own thing out at a certain point in time. That's really what I think I need to do. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be satisfied unless I own my own organization at one point. I think that's what I was meant to do.
Kamal Ravikant is amazing. I was following the book when I was going through a tough time. So it sounds like we're definitely on the same wavelength. Happy that you have a supportive girlfriend. Yeah, honestly, my wife's been super supportive as well, and she feels kind of guilty. She sees me working really hard. But I shared with her, I told her that, everything will be fine. And hey, oh shit, my friend just got back to me. Speak of the devil. Let's go. Let's see, my friend said something. Yeah, dude, that's the one I saw. Yeah, I'm based in New Jersey, about an hour from New York City, and I have a resume ready and everything. So let me know if that's the best way, just to send you the resume, or if you know the hiring manager, would love to meet them as well. Hopefully you can put in a good word for me. Thank you so much. Sweet. One of my coaching clients is gonna potentially refer me into her company, so that would be amazing. I'm usually in and out. Yeah, that'd be cool. Uh, okay. Gotta reach out to my. Hey, brother. Yeah, I think it's been a hard year for a lot of people, man. Every time I catch up with someone, it's like everyone's feeling some sort of way. I think it's been very difficult. Yeah, probably the worst, the hardest year for many of us. I'm not sure if it's just like growing up and this is just part of life, but yeah, it's crazy, man. Um, yeah, dude, would love to chat with you about something. Huh. Yeah, let's catch up soon, man. Let me know if you have some time on Friday. If you don't work in both to do the fact where you live and the fact. Oh, hey Sarah. No, I could appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's a big if I get the job. To be upfront, I think I kind of shared with you like I sort of need like a backup plan. But the jobs I'm probably more interested in are like the B2B coaching world. But to be honest, like I haven't really gotten any offers. I haven't made as much traction in those jobs. I think yeah, it's just been tough. But yeah, I think realistically, it's probably a small probability that one I'll get it. But yeah, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, I get that. I know. I think we talked about like some pretty personal things. So I totally get it. Uh, oh, really? The East Coast team is boring. Oh, that's good to know. Shit. Okay. Well, that's good to consider. Yeah, I guess, this feels like almost like a backup plan. As you can tell, there's a slight desperation in my voice. It's been a brutal 3 months, like to interview. Um, so yeah, I think, but I saw that, and then I kind of also considered what you said, and I was like, ooh, like would I even want to work at a company like that? But then I'm not. I'm definitely struggling to obtain an enterprise AE role now, so I'm just like, all right, well, anything is better than nothing right now. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful context. Hey Sarah, no, I can appreciate that. Yeah, I mean that's a big if I get the job. To be upfront, I think I kind of shared with you like I sort of need like a backup plan. But the jobs I'm probably more interested in are like the B2B coaching world. But to be honest, like I haven't really gotten any offers. I haven't made as much traction in those jobs. I think yeah, it's just been tough. But yeah, I think realistically, it's probably a small probability that one I'll get it. But yeah, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, I get that. I know. I think we talked about like some pretty personal things. So I totally get it. Yeah, yeah, no, no rush. Yeah, that would be helpful because then I could just straight up cold call him or her. And yeah, I figured it would be a different manager. I know most software companies I've worked at, there's like an East Coast team and then there's like a West Coast team, and then in the larger organizations will even have like a central team or Midwest team. So I figured it would be kind of unrelated, but I know that when you get a referral, sometimes that helps you kind of like bypass the whole ATS stuff. But yeah, thank you. I'll reach out to him. All right. Yeah, that makes sense actually. All right, I'm about to pick up my next person.
In a quarter mile, turn right on Hillcrest Road.
Good suggestion. Yeah, that's really smart. Okay, I'll reach out to him. I'll keep you posted. That's really smart. Have a good day. Okay. All right. So now we're here. My first pickup. hopefully they're cool with
Just ahead, pick up
this.
Kevin on the left.
Start Uber X. So it looks like Kevin is already. Wait, so da, da, da. Ah, looks like that's
Pick up Kevin on the left.
left hand side. Let's see. What number is this? Ah, I think I see him. Ah. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good man. How's everything with you?
Good.
Nice. I've never been to Bayhead.
Yeah, I think it's like Point Pleasant.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was like, oh, I've never, because usually it's like the New York City or the airports. That's like the more common, right?
Yeah. Nope,
So,
down the shore.
yeah. Okay, cool. So let me. So this is pretty random, but I definitely wanted to get your permission. So I usually interview the folks that I drive for, like my YouTube channel.
Okay,
Would you be open to it?
sure.
Sweet. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, just for context, I've interviewed maybe around, I want to say like 1,000 people
Okay.
so far. A combination of like
Turn right
Lyft,
on Riverview
Uber,
Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
just people I've worked with in business, and um, so it's like a combination of like podcasts and just like literally just going up to random people in like different countries or different, like in New York City, for instance.
Okay.
So it's been fun.
Interesting.
But I know it's a long ride, so like if you start getting like bored of it or whatever, just let me know, and obviously I can turn it off whenever.
Sure,
So,
sure, yeah.
but it usually keeps it in. I try to keep it interesting.
Okay.
Cool, man. So what brings you out to Bayhead?
Going to see a concert at
In a
Jenks.
quarter-mile, turn
Oh,
left
cool.
on Township
Who's
Road.
playing? Who's playing?
I think Tucker Wetmore might be his name, country artist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know as much about country artists.
Yeah, I'm not a huge country fan either. More of a casual fan, but my
Yeah.
friends invited me to go, so
Cool.
yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, a bit of a hike.
Turn left on Township
You
Road.
don't you don't have a car?
No, I do have a car. It's just like, I think we'd be allowed drinking, so I kind of figured we're getting like a hotel. So
Oh, hell yeah.
I was supposed to get a ride down there with one of my buddies, but he like canceled last minute. So
yeah.
I'm going down there, and then one of them's gonna give me a ride back tomorrow.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah.
Cool.
Just ahead, turn right
Yeah.
on River Road.
Honestly, dude, like I bet you Uber and Lyft probably has prevented a lot of DUIs from happening. Like literally, like
right
I
on
want to
River
say
Road.
like 20 to 25% of my rides end up being like people that are drinking.
People that I didn't say people that had DUIs.
Oh, well, I've had some of that as well, but well, some either like license suspension or actually in some cases DUI, yeah,
Yeah.
where they're like, yeah, like I learned my lesson, and or like sometimes you'll pick up people and they're just blasted, like they're obliterated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, whoa, it's like 2 o'clock, man.
2 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one guy. I mean, it was tough. He was his dad is much older, like in his 90s. So I think he was just I'm sure it's difficult, right, to kind of have to like be the caretaker and just being forced to stay home all day mostly.
Yeah, it's definitely tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, my aunt had pancreatic cancer. She passed away last year, but we would as a family, would go down and take care of her and stuff, and take her to doctor's appointments and do all that stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of work, stressful, like sort of taking care of somebody full time for sure.
Yeah. So, did you grow up in this area?
Yeah, I grew up in Hillsborough. And,
Oh, nice.
I went to Hillsborough High School, and then I went to the College of New Jersey.
Nice.
Down
TCNJ.
in Ewing up TCNJ, and then lived in Hoboken for a while, up until like midway through the pandemic, and then I moved. My lease was up, so I was like, well, I don't really want to pay for Hoboken rates right now. There's really nothing going on. So I kind of moved home, and I was like, oh, I'll be home for 6 months, and that was like 2 years ago. So, yeah.
Hey, I mean that's smart, honestly. Like I mean there's pros and cons to everything, right? I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you save a ton of money, you know, pay off cars and student loans and all that stuff. You
Yeah,
save money. Which is
you're doing the
nice, but
responsible thing.
yeah,
Or-
it's definitely a little bit boring in terms of like, you know, not a lot of stuff going on in the
this area.
yeah, it's this area exactly. Yeah, during the summer and stuff. So,
Yeah,
but,
it's just a different vibe. Shit. Oh yeah, this bridge is always busy. I'm sure around this time.
yeah, one lane bridge.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the cool thing about this job is like you get to explore a little bit more because like
Mhm.
usually you're just in your pockets, your bubbles. But I think sometimes you'll just end up in like totally random places. So for whatever reason, I'm always like driving across this bridge. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, it seems like this is like a central point.
Yeah, I know they were trying to expand it to 2 lanes a while ago, and then like a lot of
Oh,
people around here were like, you know, we don't want a 2 lane bridge for some reason. I guess maybe traffic
yeah,
related, but like it sucks because now it's always like this around
this is
like 5
crazy.
and 10.
Actually, this is the first time I've seen it this bad actually, but I'm not
This is
usually driving.
probably like the absolute worst time I would say between
Oh,
5 and 6. Yeah.
yeah. Good night, man. Yeah, Rohan's watching. He said it's 3:14 a.m. for him over. He lives in India, so yeah, dude. I'm surprised you're still up, man. I hope you get some good sleep. Yeah, it's I mean there's pros and cons to everything. I definitely think like suburbs it's like a little bit too quiet for me, but I'm doing a responsible thing. Me and my wife, we got married like about 4 years ago and we bought
Mhm.
a place in North Brunswick. So
Okay.
it's just nice to be able to have like equity in something versus like paying like ridiculous New York City rent.
Yeah. Where are you from
Oh
originally?
shit. I grew up in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
You know where that is? Like near
Yep. South Jersey.
yeah, South Jersey,
In
and
a quarter mile,
lived
turn
in
right on
Murray
Canal
Hill for
Road.
like 7 years and worked in Philly for a bit, but I would say most of my time has been working like New York or like Somerset or like kind of close to this area for
Okay.
a good chunk of my life. Yeah.
Do you like do you work like another job or you do like this full time or?
Yeah. So what happened was like I've been in tech sales most of my life for a
Turn
while,
left on
and I
Canal
kind of
Road.
just like was like burnt out, and I was like, and then I had like a bunch of friends like pass away, and I was like, all right, let me kind of just like travel the world and kind of do my thing and just like try this content creation stuff
Mhm.
that I've been doing every day, and like just to get a break from the corporate like 9 to 5 stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, like it's like there's definitely like socially like the corporate stuff was nice, right? Because you're just around a lot of people all the time.
Mhm.
So it has been It has been a lot harder than I thought. Like there's certain, because like entrepreneurship, like looks easy like on paper, but it's like the reality is like there's a lot of skills that I need to learn. So it's been interesting. But I have been enjoying like just doing Uber just because like I get to meet a lot of people.
Mhm.
And but
In a
yeah, I mean
quarter
obviously the
mile,
money's
turn
like
right
not
on
as good
Bunker
as
Hill
like
Road.
when you're doing like the typical corporate stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For anyone that has a
Absolutely.
college degree.
Mhm.
But it's been like nice, right? Because I get to do some of that like whenever I want, and then I still get to work on my businesses like during the daytime. So
Okay.
yeah.
What other
Turn right on Bunker Hill Road.
businesses do you have?
I have a management consulting business like that does like robotics process automation.
Mhm.
So think like a Accenture model, but just for two small medium businesses.
Okay.
So I bought into a franchise. I have a course coming out in a couple weeks that we're just kind of editing, like doing the final touches, how to break into tech sales. It's like
Mhm.
called like 0 to 100, or 0 to 100K, break into tech sales. And then I do like a lot of content creation as well. So I guess you can say I'm like a LinkedIn influencer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What's your wife do?
She's in fashion. She works at a company that does. Well, she used to work on children's clothes. Now they do handbags.
Okay.
I can't believe she told me it's like been a year already. So I guess she just hit her 1 year on the team. But yeah, she likes what she does, but it doesn't pay as well as like I guess what I'm used to, right?
Mhm.
So that's been one of the challenges. Like she grew up like in the Princeton area, so she's kind of used to like a certain standard of living.
Mhm.
And now that I'm not making that type of money, it's been challenging because we both have to kind of take a significant step back in terms of like our monthly budget and spending and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah.
She Vietnamese as well.
Her family's from Hong Kong, but she was born in Virginia.
Okay.
But yeah, my parents immigrated here back in like the 80s. Like,
Mhm.
a lot of folks like they were kind of all over the place because of like being refugees because of the war, and then
Mhm.
they finally ended up here when there was like an opening. Or I don't know if they came here illegally or something,
Were
but
they
yeah.
from South Vietnam?
Yeah. My mom was from like Saigon, or I
Okay.
guess it's called like Ho Chi Minh City now, and
Yeah.
then my dad was a little bit more up north, but like still, like I think more like the central area.
Okay.
But yeah, he's not really in our life like nowadays. I don't really. It's like weird. Like I feel like a lot of like Asian parents, like I guess more specifically like Vietnamese parents, like they don't really talk about that stuff. But
Mhm.
maybe because it was like traumatizing, or maybe they just don't want to. I don't know.
Talk about the war, you mean?
Yeah, like because I went through therapy and all this stuff, like self-development, I was gonna be like, yeah, like what happened? And then
Mhm.
she would kind of tell me, but I think sometimes there's like a language barrier because like her English isn't that great, and like my Vietnamese is like passable, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to communicate like certain like more complex words.
Okay.
But she basically what I gathered from that experience is like when they tried to leave, the communist regime would like take their, oh no, that's cool, isn't it? Like the window
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I know. It's funny because like when I drive, I never notice it, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm obviously like looking ahead.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the passengers have been like, "Oh, that's so cool." But yeah, long story short, they got bombed like when they were kind of in the war. My
Mhm.
dad died, or my grandfather died as like a translator
Mhm.
for the U.S. Army, which apparently was like like a prestigious or noble thing to do
Yeah.
for them.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been interesting. But yeah, I think like with any family that's gone through the war, like the intergenerational trauma stuff, like unconsciously or not, like gets passed down through generations, because
Yeah.
they've just seen some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely the latest. I think medical diagnosis they talk a lot about intergenerational trauma. But
Oh yeah.
my high school girlfriend's family was Vietnamese, so her
Oh.
parents were from Vietnam. So
Hmm.
we dated for a couple years. But yeah, same thing. Like her
All right,
like
so you get it, yeah.
yeah, her dad like wouldn't talk about it.
That's weird.
Like
Yeah.
just didn't really
It's like they
want.
just suppress when you're young. You don't really have the capacity to understand like certain like complex things,
Mhm.
So I think now that I'm older and ask her, but I can tell like her friends died
Mhm.
in refugee,
Well,
so
even I mean, the war was so. I mean, what like
super young.
super young
Yeah,
when it
she was like a
happened,
little
right?
kid, like a little baby,
Yeah.
like a toddler and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But yeah, it's interesting because like it is something like the Vietnamese community like talks a lot, like especially our generation, because we're like, yo, like why are our parents like so fucked up? Like why is it's like physical or emotional abuse, like, and some of it's like cultural as well, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, well, over there, like men sort of had more power, so they can
Mhm.
kind of like tell. So like, yeah, I mean, it's like complex. It's like my grandfather had multiple mistresses
Mhm.
because he was like a pharmacist, I guess like a Chinese medicine doctor, which is
Mhm.
like kind of like prestigious
Yeah.
for like the poor community. So he had like a lot of like like mistresses. So there's just
Yeah.
like a lot. There's a lot to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was my girlfriend's grandfather had like mistresses and stuff too.
Oh
I don't
really?
know. Yeah.
Oh
I
wow.
mean, they probably take that after the French, so they probably absorbed a lot of those
Oh,
cultural habits.
that's a good point. I didn't put that two and two together. Yeah, the French are very, very promiscuous. Like, but it's like they own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cultural thing over there. You're expected to
Yeah.
have like a family and a mistress.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's not frowned upon as much over there. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. I just assumed like most societies would like frown upon it, but
Yeah. I mean, it's not really like. I don't know, because even like you watch like Mad Men, like the classic like '60s, like ladies' men, like they don't really have like mistresses. I mean, they have like people they'll like hook up with constantly, but like
yeah.
they're not like putting them up in apartments and like
Right.
buying them cars and that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting topic. I
Yeah.
think Yeah, I think like Vietnamese people, like we all, I guess we're quote unquote like the most ratchet out of all like the Asians, like compared to like that your typical East Asians
Hmm.
that maybe come from a little bit more wealth or whatever, right? More of the bourgeoisie or whatever you want to call it, like that version of it, like that immigrate to the U.S. But
Are you talking like class distinctions or what?
yeah, like if you were to take the average.
Like you're saying the average Vietnamese person is more worse off financially than the
Yeah,
average.
yeah, or educationally. I mean, I think our generation's different for sure. I think, if you, I mean, if you look at kids now, like Vietnamese kids that are born now, right?
Mm.
It's probably completely different. But talking about my parents, like our parents.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really heard it discussed in like like a rich poor way. Like for instance, like I know like my girlfriend's parents were all like, her dad was like a PhD in
Oh wow,
something, and her
that's
mom had
good.
a master's in something. So they were all very
Oh wow.
highly educated. But
Oh okay, that's good to know.
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it could be like where I'm born too, right? Because I was born in Camden,
okay.
in Jersey.
Oh yeah, well that's
So
obviously a very like not a very well off
yeah,
area.
and there's a lot of Viets that are in that community. Like, there's like a huge
There's a lot
Vietnamese
of
community.
Vietnamese in Canton. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, like I went to like a Vietnamese church in Camden. Well, it was funny 'cause it's like half Haitian and half Vietnamese church,
Okay.
and yeah, it was like super ghetto. Where like I went to Rutgers, New Brunswick, and
Hmm.
I went to the doctor in Camden, and they're like, "Oh my God, you got into Rutgers? It's like that's an amazing school." But I'm just like, really? Like,
Yeah.
it's like pretty
Yeah,
average.
it's pretty average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess for the Vietnamese community, like specifically in Camden, they're like, "Oh my God, good job! Like you must be really smart."
It's not a bad school by any means. I mean, I
No.
went to TCNJ. It's the same thing. It's New Jersey
Yeah.
State School. It's
Yeah.
just it's affordable and it's a decent education. But yeah, you're not
Yeah.
blowing anyone's socks off.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Exactly. They made it sound like I was like
yeah,
super
you're going to
smart.
Harvard or something.
Yeah. But I get it because in Camden, some of them are lucky,
Yeah,
to go to
going to
community
college
college.
from there is lucky at that
Yeah.
area. Yeah. So did you go to like public school in Camden?
Well, so this is what a lot of Vietnamese people do, or at least I guess the poor Vietnamese folks that I was like more around my mom's friends and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I lived in Philly, etc. They would like use someone else's address, like, so they would illegally like,
Send you to a different school.
yeah, like
Okay.
because Cherry Hill had like a better school system.
Oh yeah, sure.
So, but we lived in, I mean, I guess we lived in a like sort of like a low income housing complex that was like technically still Cherry Hill,
Hmm.
because I guess not all of Cherry Hill was really nice. Like I was definitely in like the more the more poorer side of Cherry Hill.
Hmm.
So yeah, so naturally like my friends and the folks that I was around are like folks that like a lot of them didn't even go to college, or some of them like even died just from
Hmm.
like hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
So but I went to Cherry Hill West, so it wasn't like that bad. It was still like middle, like I would say the average person was probably like upper middle class.
Yeah, no, I mean Cherry Hill's like a decent area. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Probably similar to Hillsborough, I would guess.
yeah,
I would guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
like going to TCNJ, like 95% of the people were from like New Jersey, so
Oh
I
yeah.
get a wide sort of distribution of everyone throughout the state. But yeah, like I knew a girl who was from, I think she went to Cherry Hill. Yeah, but like I've been down there. Yeah, it's like around here. It's kind of sort of just like
Similar, yeah.
upper middle class type area. Yeah. Like
What
nothing
what
crazy.
what year did you graduate?
2014.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I graduated in 11
Okay.
from Rutgers. But yeah, I know there were some folks from my school that went to the nursing program and some education too, I believe.
Okay.
But
Yeah. My college girlfriend was a nurse. So was that girl I was talking about from Cherry Hill. But
oh,
they
okay.
were on the nursing program.
Yeah. She was from Cherry Hill too?
No. Her friend was.
Oh,
Not
okay.
her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely miss New York. Like living in New York is great for like networking and just like social
Yeah.
wise.
Definitely.
But the suburbs is kind of nice where there's a little bit less pressure to kind of like, in some, I mean, I guess it depends, but who you hang out with. But like, I feel a little bit less keeping up with the Joneses, and like,
Mhm.
people kind of leave you alone. It's kind Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Sure.
I like the. And I grew up in the suburbs. I like the suburbs. Like I couldn't live in New York. It's just too claustrophobic. Hot. Like I would not want to be there in the summer.
Turn
Oh
left
yeah.
on Monmouth Junction
I
Road.
personally just need like more space to kind of like walk around and
Yeah. So
yeah,
you do like it here,
kind
sounds
of
like.
unwind. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, your neighborhood looks pretty nice. Like that, like it's probably a good place to raise a family, and because I feel like New York, like a lot of folks that grew up in New York, like they're like exposed to so much that it's like, well, is that good for your kids to be growing up in that type of environment?
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to raise their kid.
It's probably like, yeah, it's you just get exposed to a lot. So
Yeah, yeah. I think most people that have kids that sort of like maybe met in the city, they go to like either Long Island or Westchester area or like Bergen County, North Jersey.
yeah,
I don't think most people raise kids in the city by choice in this day and age.
yeah, yeah. I know some that do, and I'm always shocked. I'm like, really? Wow. But it's rare. Like to your point,
Yeah.
it's super rare. So what type of industry are you in?
I work in finance,
Oh, okay.
so currently work for a bank called SMBC. It's like a Japanese investment bank.
Oh, okay.
Sumitomo Mitsu
Oh, dude, I think
something.
one of my fraternity brothers is like the comptroller there.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. David, his name is David. Shit, what's his last name? He's Asian. I don't know if that. I mean,
Okay.
that doesn't help. David Wong.
David Wong. All right, I'll
Yeah,
have to look him
he's
up.
pretty high up, but I don't. I know sometimes the banks kind of like they'll recruit from each other. So I know
Oh yeah.
he's
Oh
worked.
yeah. I've worked for like a million other banks too. So I was at JP Morgan for like 7 years. I was a bunch
Oh,
of
okay.
places. Yeah.
Do you like recommend
In
that
a quarter
that
mile, turn right to stay on
industry,
Ridgefield
like
using
getting
the
into
right lane.
banking and finance?
Um, it kind of depends. Like, I don't know. Like, you read Reddit these days, and it's all like the whole like anti-work
Turn right
crowd
to
and all
stay
that
on Ridge
stuff.
Road.
And you
Oh shit.
know, it's really not that tough to kind of just go to school, go to a normal 4-year school like Rutgers or TCMJ, and either pay for with loans or go to community college first or go in the military or do something to pay for it. It's not super expensive compared to like a Penn State or some private school. And then
Yeah.
you major in some business degree, and then you kind of get out of school. I mean, there's a million of these types of like operations, like office jobs, and these banks. They're always hiring. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good field if you want kind of like steady employment. I would say definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I got into it thinking I was going to be like Gordon Gekko and like Wall Street in the '80s, and like I'd be
Yeah.
making millions of dollars and doing all that stuff. And it's not really like that anymore unless you're like
Huh.
the top, the top 1% of like the Ivy League guys,
Yeah.
and their dad was like an investment banker and that type of thing. So I
Yeah.
mean, like anywhere else, it's still hard to break into that sort of top
Hmm.
echelon of position. I mean,
Yeah.
like I wasn't a trader, but I worked on like trading floors, like bond sales and all that type of stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like in a support like
In a
operations
quarter mile,
role for
turn
those
right
types of
on
guys.
Churches
So,
Road.
Yeah.
but I mean,
Huh.
yeah, those guys would make millions of dollars. They would clean up, and they all lived in like Rumson. And they lived next to Bruce Springsteen, and they all like had cars, and their daughters were like professional figure skaters for Team USA, and they just had the most like
Turn right on Georges
Wow.
Road.
craziest lives. But I mean, those jobs are impossible to get. So.
Do you feel like those jobs, is it like, it's hard to quantify, but would you say like 80% like connections and who you know, and like 20% like you actually are just naturally talented or
It kind of depends. It's like there's a couple ways to do it. I would say first, if you go to like a good enough school, like an Ivy League school, or like a Patriot League school, like a Lehigh or a
Hmm.
Bucknell, or you go to Duke or an Ivy League, obviously, and you get like an internship
yeah.
with a bank when you're in college. That's definitely one way to do it.
Hmm.
If you go to those schools, have like connections in a bank, that's potentially another way to do it.
Oh, okay.
The way I tried to do it was I got a job at JP Morgan, and I worked in the support, like you call it like trade support, right? Middle office trade support. So we supported the fixed income municipal bonds desk was a desk I worked for. So I worked for them for like 6 years. So another way to do it is you work in the support role for like 4, 5, 6 years, and you get lucky and a spot opens up, and then the guys you work for sort of like you enough, kind of bring you on as one of those guys. So that sometimes happens. It happened to a guy I worked with. I tried to go that route, and basically what ended up happening was the team I was trying. So it was like the municipal bonds desk at JP Morgan was sort of lumped in with like the exotics desk and maybe another desk. I don't remember what it was, but it was consisted of like 7, 8, 9 people, but they're all men, right?
Mm.
So when this role opened up for me, I'd been in the support role for like 5 years. I like interviewed for the job. The guy wanted to hire me, all this different stuff, and then basically HR came back and said, "Hey, you know, the team is it's all guys." So they go, "You gotta hire like a girl, so you can't bring in a guy." I'm sorry. So yeah, I mean, you know, the girl was great. She went to like Princeton. I'm sure she was an excellent candidate. I'm sure she made an excellent trader or whatever. But yeah, so it's sort of like after that, like that was kind of the end of the road for me in terms of like getting into one of those positions. So after that, I left JP Morgan. I went to work for like other places where like I would make more money doing that same like support role, but because you know JP Morgan doesn't really pay very well in more of a support role, but other places do pay more.
Huh.
So yeah, so instead of going for that, you call a front office role, either a trader or a salesperson.
Yeah.
I basically went to another bank to make more money in like sort of a similar kind of support role. So yeah.
This is a weird question. Obviously, you don't have to answer it if you don't feel comfortable, but do you feel like it's harder to be like a white male in today's society? Because like you just or like
No, I mean I would say that there's, you know, it used to be much more of sort of like a closed door club, right? In the
Right.
70s and 80s, where most of these roles went to, you know, white guys from Long Island and their nephews and their sons from Long Island, and everyone, you know, was, you know, a WASP or, you know, knew each other or this or that. So I mean, now in today's day and age, it's much more, you know, it's much more equal. It's a lot, you know, there's a lot more opportunities for people, which is great. I mean, the one area you kind of get into, which, you know, some of me and my other friends talk about, is like, you know, so for instance, that team I spoke about, the team I was trying to interview for, you know, that team was the guy who I would eventually be replacing was my boss, who was a white guy. The other 6 guys on the team were all Indian and Asian, right? And the woman they wanted to bring in was someone of South, you know, Asian descent. She was like Sri Lankan or something. So, you know, certain, you know, you see the stuff on Fox News and stuff where certain white people now go, oh, well, you know, it's ridiculous. If the team is 7 Asians and Indians, you know, like, you know, by that logic, then you should have a place where, you know, at least you should hire like a couple white guys or something. You know, if you're really going to be totally multicultural, then it should be, there should be black people on the team. And there should be these people. It shouldn't just be the people who are stereotypically great at math, and scientists, you know, that type of thing. So I mean, it's, I you know, if you're talented and you work hard and you're smart, I mean, I think anyone has a good opportunity. Is it harder than it used to be for, say, a white man? Yeah, because there's more. Everyone else has, you know, kind of the same opportunities.
Right.
But I mean, you know, I mean that's what a meritocracy is, right? The best people are supposed to rise to the top. So in theory, you would think that just kind of the best would be hired now. I mean, that's not the case. I mean, like I said, you know, you could be the smartest guy in the world. If you went to Rutgers or TCNJ, the chance of you getting one of these jobs are a lot smaller than if you went to Lehigh or Duke or Harvard. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's still that aspect to it. But
Okay, so Lehigh is a really good school. I'm not as familiar with like the whole like stuff
yeah, I
anymore,
mean,
but
it's not an Ivy, but it's a good school. Yeah,
oh,
he's
okay,
sort of like
good to know.
Lehigh, Bucknell, a lot of those
Ah,
schools. You call it the Patriot League,
hmm.
sort of the sports leagues they play. So.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, but I mean, like the days of kind of like the '80s Wall Street guy are kind of coming to an end. They're
Yeah.
that's kind of winding down.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways that's good, right? Because that probably contributed to a lot of the bailouts and stuff like that, right? Or not really.
I mean,
I guess that's more the mortgage industry, but yeah.
yeah, that's more kind of like the mortgage industry and the mortgage-backed securities and all the bundling of securities and all that type of stuff. I mean, I'm not an expert at that stuff besides what I've read, in the Big Short book. But I mean, that just seems more kind of like it wasn't derivatives, which are the industry I work in, just kind of seemed like under regulated to a point where. Um, basically banks were buying products that they didn't fully understand,
Yeah.
and that were based in the mortgage system, which was sort of being propped up and propagated by these policies that was like, we want everyone to have a house, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
that's the American dream, get a house. And the politicians were pushing everyone to get a house, and
Yeah.
the banks were lending to everyone. And it's kind of like the Big Short, right? You
Yeah.
see the stripper who has 5 houses in Florida and like that type of thing. So
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
that's not a sustainable economic uh, situation to be in. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you're basing mortgage-backed securities off of these mortgages, yeah, I mean, eventually it was going to fail. It was sort of just like the ways that like all the banks were so like sort of so dependent on all those types of like collateralized debt obligations that kind of when it all went belly up, it sort of well, I mean, everyone knows what happened in 2008, so
Yeah.
it kind of all went belly up.
So, you mentioned that you go on Reddit. Is that like just for general like finance tips, or is it just to kind of see what I'm curious, like what insights you learn from Reddit? Are you just seeing like that's a trend, like the fire movement, etc., right? Are you just speaking to more of just like what the general consensus of the general public is?
In terms of like just in general or like financial stuff?
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're speaking more specifically around the personal finances and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
not,
Oh no,
yeah.
I mean like Reddit. I'm not like a Wall Street bets type guy. No, I mean for Reddit, I kind of just go on and sort of just I use it like I find it's like a very good sort of barometer of like
Hmm.
society and the economy and everything that's sort of going on. It's sort of interesting trending and what stories are
Hmm.
popular and what people are saying about certain events and things like that. So
Okay. So,
yeah,
because yeah, I would agree. I would say, I mean, I think Reddit folks tend to be sometimes a bit more contrarian sometimes, it
yes,
feels like.
definitely, yeah,
But I do think it's a good sense of just, I mean, obviously there's a lot of people bitching on there about like just how tough life is, and there's probably some truth to that, right? Everyone is entitled to their own like opinion on why our country sucks or whatever, right?
yeah.
But I do think sometimes it's like a cesspool of like negativity.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, there's definitely problems and stuff, but like you read, it's like it's just sort of tough for me to sit here and like you listen to these people all the time, and it's like these people act like they didn't achieve like full consciousness till they're like 25 years old. Like oh, I don't have a job, and I don't have this, and I'm so in debt, and I'm
Yeah.
like. Well, at some point you have to take some personal responsibility and
Yeah,
be like,
totally.
like when I was in high school, I wanted to go to the $55,000 a year school. My dad was like, you
Yeah.
shouldn't do that. You're
Yeah.
gonna get a ton of debt, and I didn't. I went to TCNJ, which was
Right.
the cheapest New
Yeah.
Jersey state school I could go to. And
Yeah.
I wanted to, I wanted to work in politics.
Oh yeah.
And my, same thing. It was like, maybe not the best idea, maybe minor in political science, and get a degree in business, so like you'll always have a job. And like in one respect, I kind of wish I followed
Huh.
my passions a little bit more. But
Yeah.
it's nice to be employable. It's nice to be able to have money and like do those types of things. So I mean, it's like it wasn't some mystery like 15 years ago, like what you should do to go out there and be like to be someone in society who can at least afford a apartment or a house or a car and
Yeah.
a wife and a kid and that type of thing. Like
Yeah.
it's not a mystery. You try hard in school and you try and go to college. You can't afford college. There's scholarships, or there's sports, or there's you can go to community college for 2 years, and then you can go to
Yeah.
a state school in New Jersey. At least you can join the military, and the GI Bill, they'll pay for your college. Like there's ways to get a college degree with not a lot of debt, and to
Yeah.
pick a major that you can support yourself. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it's tough, but I mean there are also changes that have to be made, obviously, in society. You're always pushing to kind of to be as progressive as possible, and kind of you always want to sort of improve and sort of shoot for that that Star Trek, that utopian ideal. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. I don't know.
I can see you being a politician. It sounds like you're able to see both perspectives. Like you're able to see both point of views, which I respect. Um,
Yeah, that'd be great. Sure. Yeah, you can run for Senate next year maybe.
what school did you say? I think was it like GW, or like what was that school that you were eyeing that you weren't able to, I guess?
The school, it was called Franklin Marshall,
Oh yeah.
Pennsylvania. I mean, it's not like an amazing school or anything. It was just
Turn right on Apple
It's a bit more expensive. It sounds like.
yeah, it was like twice as expensive as TC&J.
Is that also Patriot League?
No, it's like D3. It's not in the same league as like Lehigh or anything.
Oh, okay.
It was just kind of it was more sort of I feel
Liberal
like people
arts.
from there focused more sort of on like law and like political science more type stuff. Yeah, like they
Yeah.
go on to be like lawyers and that those types of things, versus like just like a normal kind of state school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was watching Suits. Have you ever watched the show
Yeah,
Suits?
yeah.
Yeah. It was. I don't know if you remember, but Mike Ross went like the banking route for like one of the seasons. Right.
I don't think I watched like the later seasons.
Yeah, it was a bit later. It was like season 6 or
Okay.
5
You
or
see,
whatever.
like go and work in like banking and stuff.
Yeah, so essentially what happened was like, because you know how he was like a fraud, right?
Yeah.
He took the bar and,
Yeah.
and then he kind of like bullshitted his way to becoming a lawyer. Well, one of his clients was like an investment banker and was like, hey, like you're fucking impressive. Like, why don't you go work, not to go to jail type of
Yeah.
thing? But it's funny because they were like, hey, like this is the big leagues, you know what I mean? He's like, law, like, yeah, that's cool, that's cute, but like, investment banking, that's where the money's at.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, like, so that definitely resonated with me. I'm like, oh wow, like the way they were selling it made it seem like, damn, there's like obviously huge upside to investment banking.
Yeah. I don't. What did he ever do to finally like? Does he ever like become legit in like law? Is that ever?
So-
does he ever like figure that out? Like, how would you figure that out?
You're not gonna watch it because I don't want to ruin it. Are you
No,
gonna
you can
watch
tell
it?
me. I watched the first couple seasons.
So the season that I'm at now, I just rewatched it because you know how sometimes like you're like multitasking, so you're kind of like not really paying attention, right? You're
Yeah.
like you're on your phone, TikTok or whatever. So I watched it again because I was just like, man, this show is like good. Like it's like a lot of lessons about life, ethics, values, etc. Like just like good shit, politics. And so I guess he ended up like I guess someone found out that he was a fraud, so he got trialed for it, and then he was like the day, like basically minutes before the jury was about to actually name him like not guilty, he's like, all right, fuck it, like let me just own up and just take personal responsibility, unlike a lot of the folks that we're probably reading about on Reddit. And he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna own it, and then I'll, it's just 2 years of jail, but at least I can live with myself knowing that, like, I did this illegal shit. so this season, so he actually got because he helped one of the hackers, like this lady that was like hacking. So she actually hacked into this like Harvard mainframe and like added
And
him,
change his thing.
yeah, and added him as someone,
Just graduated.
yeah. But I'm not really sure like what the details were, but essentially,
But like they already knew he was a fraud. So at that
yeah.
point, like it doesn't matter if something pops up in the Harvard computer. Like
Yeah, so I mean, there's probably way too many episodes of him just trying to like. There's all these like where like the professor, the ethics professor, who was like everyone like Harvey, like who was like the hardest professor, like he somehow owes Harvey a favor because of all I don't know. Basically, there's all this like drama,
yeah.
and then they got him to like vouch for Mike because they're like, yeah, this guy's like one of the most brilliant lawyers I've ever met, or blah blah blah, whatever. But then I guess they had enemies. Like Harvey had enemies, and then basically a lot of the folks like in the prosecution world like was like, all right, I'm gonna fuck over Mike because that's like his soft spot, that's his weakness. So he ended up like getting fucked over. So like right now I'm in the season where he's in jail, and then basically they make a deal to get one of like the biggest traders that does like a shit ton of insider trading. They try to they try to get his grandson, his nephew, to like rat him out essentially, and then Mike's like, Mike's super loyal, so he's like, I'm not gonna do that. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now.
Okay.
But it is like an interesting show to kind of like help. It just helped me be able to see that like there's a lot of gray areas, you know what I mean? Like to get deals done, like a lot of politics, like there's like what is right or wrong. Sometimes there are like a lot of shades of gray. So that's what I'm realizing from watching that show.
Yeah, yeah. Plus you get to watch Meghan Markle, so that's always
Yeah, she's she's real attractive, and like I mean, as you probably remember, there's certain scenes where I'm like, damn, she can get it. Yeah. It's I guess she did such a good job that Prince Harry was like, yo, like I'm gonna I'm like, I bet you he was watching this and he's like, damn, like
probably. I heard it was a blind date that got set up on.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you like. I don't know who you have to know to get set up with the Prince of England on a blind date.
I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt when you're like the top star at the time, like one of the biggest shows, in the world.
Yeah. I don't know when. Is that when they? I don't even know when they met. But
yeah, I'm sure.
It was definitely after Suits was like on for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
she like stopped when it was still.
Oh
going,
yeah.
Like the last season or two, like she wasn't on it yet.
Yeah. She's not on it as much in the later seasons, but. It's a good show, man. Like about business, how to do business, and like just confidence, and like I'm like, yo, like that fuck you, like Harvey energy, man. I'm like, I need some of that shit.
Coolest, super cool.
He's a badass.
They still look great too. They're doing like T-Mobile commercials. They look exactly the same. They have, like,
I saw that.
That show started in like 2011. When that show
started? It's been a while now. I mean, shit, you gotta milk it, like shit.
I know.
But. It's a good show, man. I never watch shows because I like I prefer to be reading a book because I'm always like into like the self-development stuff. But there's like a lot of shit you can learn from TV as well. I feel like, or movies sometimes.
Do you read a lot of like other types of books? Like
I read a lot of like biographies.
Okay.
Like I've read like a shit ton of billionaire biographies. I've read like Bloomberg's, Paul Allen, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. And then I read a lot of like sports, like famous athletes like Andre Agassi, LeBron James, like Kobe.
See the Ringer website?
No, what's that?
It's like Bill Simmons used to be like an ESPN basketball guy. It's like sports and pop culture website. It's kind of like it's like a smarter type of like Barstool type thing.
Okay.
But yeah, they have like they have the website with a lot of articles, and they have like the podcast network, a lot of like sports and pop culture type podcasts.
Nice. Yeah, I'm like not as into pop culture. I would say I read more for just like the motivation and the mindset of these famous athletes.
Yeah, Suits was 2011.
Oh wow, that's impressive that you got that right. Yeah. But I'm into like I like reading. Like I'm big into reading. I mean that's why I do a lot of these interviews as well, just to like create a resource, because now like if any because I mentor a lot of people. So if anyone wants to get into banking, like I'll be like, yo, check out this episode, you know. Um, yeah, because I meet a lot of I do a lot of content on LinkedIn, and
Okay.
I get like a lot of like younger people reaching out to me for advice. So it's like usually they're asking the same thing. So I'm like, all right, let me just like record everything, and it's like, here you go, like watch this first, and then we'll talk. Yeah.
That's good. So what companies did you work for when you did tech sales?
I was at LinkedIn is probably the most well-known one,
Okay.
and probably the most like prestigious, I would say, out of
Mhm.
like all the companies I've worked at. I've worked at Fortune Magazine.
Okay.
Worked at Udemy. You've heard of
No.
Udemy is like really well known for like tech learning. So like anyone who it's kind of like a marketplace where you can buy a course on like anything, like public
Mhm.
speaking or like how to master Excel or do pivot
Mhm.
tables and stuff like that. So it's like but basically it's like training. So what I did was like help companies like Samsung migrate to the AWS, like with a lot of the training
Okay. Yeah, my
component.
dad works for AWS.
Okay. Yeah, so you know how big they are and like
Yeah.
how like every company's using them
Yeah.
nowadays.
Mhm.
And then I worked at a bunch of tech startups, one called Coach Hub, which is like Series D. I was like employee number 5 there in the US, and then it grew to like 130 in the US. But then because of macroeconomics conditions, like it grew too fast and hired way too many people, so they ended up laying off like 80% of the workforce.
Mhm.
And I left because I saw the writing. I was like, yeah, no way, like this is sustainable.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, I started my own business I worked at a company called TriNet.
Okay.
It's like a Fortune probably like 700 company,
Mhm.
HR tech company that does like payroll and like HR software essentially for small medium businesses.
Okay.
And yeah, my industries were that uh, was like professional services, and then kind of did like a brief stint in like the manufacturing space as well, selling to those industries.
Mhm.
But mostly I've sold to like tech companies, financial services, and management consulting firms, I would say, and some nonprofits.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, I've had a lot of different jobs. There's a company called SHI that's located in Somerset. I don't know if you've heard of them, but
No.
super big like tech company that really like they're smart because their office is close to Rutgers,
Mhm.
so it ends up like half of Rutgers ends up working there.
Okay.
So that's like a big hub for a lot of like kind of like it's almost like college over again. It's like you go there, you have a chill job, you know, you have like a normal 9 to 5. You're not working more than 40 hours a week,
Mhm.
and that was like kind of how I like first learned about tech. And
Mhm.
in that company, like I think at the right place at the right time, where Ty Lee, like she's like a billionaire now. She's
Mhm.
like on Forbes, like magazine, like one of the richest women, and that grew. I think when I first started, it was only like maybe like 500-600 employees, and then it grew to like 10,000 employees now. Um, just reselling like software and just selling hardware and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's crazy like how much money like is out there actually.
So you never thought about like trying to go back into like tech sales, or
That's what I'm doing.
that's your
Yeah,
plans?
yeah. I'm in the interview process, like talking to some companies, because I mean, it's quite lucrative. Like at least in my industry, like the top tech sellers are making like $1 million a year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the average person's probably making like two to 300, but I mean that's not bad, honestly.
It's a lot more than I'm in. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's not like right away, right? You would have to put in like a good 10 to 15 years to be making
Mhm.
that consistently, but
Yeah.
like you do sometimes you get like 23-year-olds making like 200-300, but
Yeah, no, my dad said he was at lunch with some sales guys a couple of weeks ago, and he said there was a guy that was,
oh, AWS, oh yeah, they're making like
I don't
shocking.
know if they were AWS or not. But there was like 30-year-old guy, and the guy was like, yeah, I made yeah, I should have went to tech sales.
I mean, and those people though, because I've hired a lot of these folks to kind of like mentor me and stuff like
Mhm.
that. they're just on another level, man. Like they would have made it in any industry because like I meet with them and like yeah, on the outside it's like how the fuck did you make like 1.45 million, like
Yeah.
you know, over a million? Because I've been on teams where my teammates were making that much, and they're just wired differently, man. Like not only are they working, like they're literally working 80 hours a week, they're working on the weekends, like a lot of these folks, and they're just like a student of the game, man. Like where they're selling health insurance, they're like in their spare time they're reading up on the latest regulations and like they're up to date with everything. You know, they're like, or they've been in the same industry for like 15, 20, 30 years sometimes, right? Especially like folks at AW, like Amazon or Google. Like some of them, yes, like occasionally you'll have like a hot shot who's like 23, 25 that's like making a million, but that's super rare. I would say more often than not, they've been through the ringer, you know, they've been through like multiple divorces. I mean, probably similar to, I'm guessing, some of the bankers that you know, right? It's like they're like, they sacrificed like being able to like be there for their kids' games and stuff. Not all of them. Like I would say the folks that are making like 300 to 500 thousand a year, like I would say probably have a little bit more balance where like they're actually able to set boundaries and like they're able to have a normal life and the weekend stuff. But I would say more often than not, the ones that are making like above 680 to 750 to 800K a year, they're like really like obsessed almost, where they're like either they're working an insane amount, or you know, and like I would say maybe 20% of it is just like at the right place at the right time,
Yeah.
where it's like oh, this company is about to be publicly traded. You know, my equity is going to be worth like, you know, like I know some folks at LinkedIn that were there when Microsoft bought them out.
Okay.
You know, that would make like, you know, $3.5 million when that acquisition happened. Or so I would say that's like, but that's super rare. Like I would say that's definitely not everyone. But I think some of it is also like they took a chance on this company and then it ended up being like Facebook, right? But it's like, it's so rare.
Yeah, like the venture capitalist guys. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say their hit rate's like, you know, 1 in like, I don't know, 1 in 10 or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's very low. Like the amount of Ubers and Facebooks that are out there. Are, you know, 1 in 100 compared to all the other.
Yeah.
You know, like the what was that with the QB? What was the one with Jeffrey Katzenberg? The short form thing that lasted like 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it's but you know, there are some friends I know that are like, you know, lucky, or sometimes like you just have grit and like you've been through the ringer, and then everyone else, a lot of folks, let's say they lay off like 80% of the workforce, but you're lucky enough to be one of the few people that inherited all those opportunities that, you know, let's say like at my previous company, for instance, they hired like 38 sales reps, like let go of 30 of them, and then all of us that are still left, like it's like shit, our pipeline just tripled overnight.
Yeah, you get all those like leads and stuff.
And then you end up like not even being that good. You know, maybe you're like slightly above average, but your pipeline just quadrupled overnight, and then you're like, oh, and then like, but then you know, like, hey, like this was all luck, like it had nothing to do with my skill. So it's like there's a lot of that too, I feel like. But I miss it, like now that I'm definitely not going to take it for granted, because like, you know, like the grass is people always think the grass is on the other side. I took like a lot of chances, and I'm just like, okay, like yeah, the corporate stuff, like that was nice.
How does like the comp work in that industry? Is it like 50-50 like commission versus salary, or how does it work really?
Yeah, so there's like 3 different routes you could take, right? You can call it the intentional individual contributor, where like you're in control of your own destiny. Like, you know, you're just like in sales your whole life. Like the comp, let's say for like the title would be called enterprise account executive. So like one of the roles I had, for instance, like 275 OTE, which means like 200. Once you hit your quota, it's 275K. So 50% base, 50% commissions, and then some of them you get paid out quarterly. So let's say you hit like 120% of your number for that quarter. Let's say just to make it easy, like let's say every quarter, if you hit your number, you get like a flat $30,000 that commission. So they'll put multipliers. So if you hit like, let's say the quota is like you have to close $400,000 that quarter. They have multipliers. So if you hit like above a certain amount, it's like a 1.2 multiple, for instance. So it just depends on, every company has like different incentives, and if you sell multi-year deals, you'll get um, like a higher multiplier. So let's say like at LinkedIn, when I sold a 3-year deal, I might get like a 1.8 multiplier on contract value. So that incentivizes you to do longer term agreements.
Yeah.
But it's usually a 50-50 breakdown, and then you also get equity as well. So at like a newly publicly traded company like that I was at, for instance, like they might be like, you get 60K of equity, and it's like a 4-year vesting period. And so it'll be like 15K per year, but that that 15K, depending on how well the obviously the stock does, like that could be, like I know some of my friends like with Microsoft, like it started off at 60K, but because they like toughed it out after those 4 years, like it ended up being like 180K, like so and then sometimes they incentivize you where it's like, if you're like really killing it, like if you're like President's Club, which is the top 10% of the sales force, they'll be like, oh, if you make President's Club, we'll throw on an additional $35,000 of equity, like Microsoft stock on top of it. So so it's like, and then the insane part is like, and I'm sure you guys have some of this as well, right? Like the President's Clubs, like there's all these like incentives where it's like, hey, like we're gonna do a competition for the end of the year competition. Like anyone who's able to close like a multi-year deal, like you'll get paid 2.5 like multiplier on the contract value. So you can end up like, there's people I know that have only hit like 80% of the number, but made more than 300,000 on their OTE, like the on target earnings, because they were able to play like the multi-year game or like all these competitions. So it's like carrot and sticks, right? Like they really know how to like get you motivated, and it's like pulling different levers. But I mean, it could be quite lucrative, right, if you're really talented. And yeah, so I had some coworkers, I had some teammates that were like 25, 23 years old. Maybe the average is like 28, right? Like I would say that we're like, I considered still young, but they were making like 380, 420, like 435 a year. And I'm like, damn, bro, like you're killing it. You're a 25-year-old making like 380 a year. Like what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Yeah. But those people are like really smart, I would say. Like they have good emotional intelligence. Like they kind of know, they don't like, it's like politics, right? Like you're not ruffling any feathers. You're like kind of playing nice in the sandbox. You're like, you're doing your thing. You're like, you're mentoring like younger reps. Like it's like they definitely have a good head on their shoulder, and they're eating healthy. They're going to the gym, like the normal stuff, right? I would say like those people, I would imagine probably would be good in other industries as well.
Yeah, I mean, those type A people, I'm sure they'd be successful in whatever industry they picked, right?
Yeah, but it is cool. I feel like tech sales is like, as in my opinion, the only industry where like you can not have a college degree and still make like really good money. Like a lot of not a lot, but I have some, maybe a handful of folks that made over $1 million a year that like didn't even go to college.
Really?
In tech sales, yeah. So it is like, feels like probably the only industry I know that you don't necessarily need to have a college degree, and you can still make it to like the upper echelons of like strategic accounts, where you're the one that is managing like, or selling, expanding the Amazon account or the Google account or like the GE account, more of like the more like strategic deals.
Yeah, that's sorry, my friend just texted me.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's funny because like the people I see around me who are the most happiest are probably like my family's friends who own their own businesses. The guy who owns like his own graphic designs company, the guy who owns like the local funeral home. Those guys are always like the fucking happiest dudes. They got their own boats, they got their beach houses, and they're just so like they're
Huh.
pumped to just make their money. Sort of donate to the local whatever PTA or whatever, kind of be the little boss of their own like town, their own group of friends, and kind of just play that whole game.
What'd you say they do?
Like own their own businesses.
Oh
So,
yeah,
a friend who
yeah.
owns
I would
their
say
own
so.
graphic
Yeah.
design company, and I have a friend who
Hmm.
owns their own owns like the funeral home in town, like stuff
True.
like that. So just like
Yeah, that's true.
just like not having a boss and that type of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I think, I'm trying to like look to who I feel are like the happiest people. It's interesting, like in doing Uber, like it really did change my perspective because there are a lot of folks I've driven that like, for instance, there was a dude who I picked up that worked at Quick Check as like a gas manager, like literally
I used to
pumping
wear a
gas.
quick check and fun guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, in high school.
In high school, yeah. Well, this guy's
In a
probably
quarter mile,
like
enter the roundabout, then
about
take
to
the
get
second
28 years
exit
old,
onto State Route 34.
but he freaking loved it.
Yeah.
He was like so happy, and you could tell like he was just like, I'm just so grateful. Like I love my job, I love my boss. Like like I'm just happy to have a job. And I was just like, what the hell? Like you freaking literally pump gas, and he was just so happy.
Enter the roundabout,
And-
then take the second exit
and,
onto State Route 34.
Yeah, I do think there's something like the small business owner, I think, is very happy. Like you get like folks that own like a HVAC company.
Yeah,
Or,
it's
like-
another friend who, exactly, owns a carpet cleaning company.
Exit
Yeah.
onto State
Same
Route
thing.
34.
They all have boats and beach houses.
True. Yeah, that's true. Like a lot of ones that, well, some of it's like family-owned business, right? So some of it's like they're like continuing that legacy.
No, these were all three of the people I'm thinking of. No, started
Wow.
it themselves. Yeah, I mean they're not multi-millionaires, but
Yeah.
they do pretty well.
Yeah. I think like the entrepreneurs, like it seems like anyone who has autonomy, or I guess they call it like internal locus of control, like people that feel like they have destiny, like they call the shots, like they don't have anyone breathing over their neck and being like, yo, like where's my report, like that was due yesterday, are happy. I know some folks in tech sales that are happy as well, but yeah, that's true. I would say more, I think the average entrepreneur seems like they're a bit happier, it feels like, or at least the ones that have made it past the hump, right? Like the first couple years, the first few years, they
Yeah.
always say it's always rough.
I mean, like my dad, he's retiring this year, so he's like super pumped to retire. He just made. He said last year was the most money he ever made in his entire life, and he's still like he wants to retire. I'm like, you should probably work it out a couple more years. Dad, you're making all this money. Yeah, he works for AWS.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. He networks with us.
yeah, so
He clearly going to do it his whole. I mean, like, he's done sales his whole life, so I mean, he enjoys doing sales. But I mean, it's just funny for me to think, like, because sales is a very, even like you said, right? Like, you get laid off a lot, or you're very if the economy goes down, you get fired. If macroeconomic factors, things like that. So he's been laid off. He's been fired from 1,000 sales.
Oh, really?
I mean, like, he's like, we've always made money and stuff, but like growing up, it was always like, oh, Christmas isn't that good this year.
Oh,
we
wow.
gotta save money. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. More like when I was young. When I got a little older, by that time, like he was fine. But like,
okay.
it's just funny how basically all this time, and he basically hits the peak of his profession. He's doing tech sales at AWS.
Yeah.
He's making the most money he's ever made.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna retire.
How old is he now?
He's 3.
Oh, okay. So he is getting a little bit older.
Yeah. So he's not in his 50s. But I mean,
yeah. I mean, he probably can retire by now, right?
no, he can. It's just I don't know. It's just like if I worked my whole life to reach like the top of my game, I would want to stay up on that mountaintop for a while.
Well, that's interesting. Like, and part of this is why I wanted to interview like 1,000 people, because I wanted to like just see what people think about like towards the end of their career, and just how do people define success and stuff like that. Some of it's just soul searching. I've interviewed like a lot of these, like just a lot of very, and then partially why I read like 30 billionaire biographies, right? Because I'm just like what, yeah. And I realized that um, it's like all about like just enjoying the ride, right? Like it's like smell the kind of present, like I feel like it's rarely end goal, right? It's rarely like, oh, like that $50,000 commission check or like that bonus that made them happy, But it was more like, oh, like I fucking clawed tooth and nail to get this like deal across the finish line, or like to get, to land a job at this like prestigious company or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So it's always like about the journey. That's what I'm noticing. And yeah, I mean, dude, I know like there's a lot of tech sales people that are like, you can tell they're miserable, like, but they are like, hey, like I have kids or like whatever, right? Like I have like responsibilities, and but I get it as well, because like the golden handcuffs are real, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
a lot of folks in your industry as well, where like a lot of people, like most of my friends, like never leave LinkedIn. There's folks that have been there forever, like 18 years, and like they probably would be good at doing other things, but they're just like, nah, like this is like this. I'm so used to making like like whether it's like 300 or 350 a year, and then they're just like there, and yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting, but I definitely think golden handcuffs is like real.
No, yeah. I mean, even for me, just making like what
Yo,
I make
what's up?
now, it's like I would probably like to try a different career, but
Yeah.
it's just you get accustomed to making a certain amount of money,
Yeah.
whatever it is, and to take 30% less, you're kind of like, well, fuck
Yeah.
that. Like, I want
Yeah.
to do that.
So Uweza, who's from Morocco, is on. He said hello.
I always.
Yeah. It. I think. Yeah. Sometimes people do transition. Like I do see some folks transition from like consulting a lot into tech.
Yeah.
And to your point, like I think we just have like a lot of layoffs. Like that's like definitely.
Yeah, tech went through a lot of layoffs in the past, 2 years or so?
Yeah,
Like
it's been
end of 22. I mean, I got laid
In a
off.
quarter mile, continue straight through the roundabout onto State Highway 34.
Yeah, I got laid off in like February. Entire mortgage-backed securities department of Credit Suisse kind of came over to where I was at.
Yeah.
And I had just started there, so they laid off a couple of like the most junior people, like make room for all these Credit Suisse people.
I see. Yeah. Our industry, I would say, is
Exit onto State
probably
Highway
the
34.
hardest, the worst it's ever been in the 15 years I've been working. But I still think there's definitely still upside for sure. Like it's still a decent job. Like folks that are employed that are in like tech sales, like have like pretty good, comfortable benefits. It's like fertility benefits. Like I do think tech sales does have decent work-life balance. Like, cause what I hear from folks in banking is like it's normal to work past like 5 p.m. Right? You would say.
Yeah.
Like, what time do you get done usually? You think?
I mean, this job is not that bad, but I mean, when I worked at Royal Bank of Canada, we'd work like 11-hour days every day.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy.
we worked 7 to 6. It was a normal day.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, no one is really doing that, I would say, in tech sales. Maybe like your first 3 months, just because you're just trying to learn everything and you're trying to, the learning curve of like learning a new organization and stuff like that. But I would say most people definitely aren't doing that. And then, probably when you're around your dad's age, actually, like, you could probably get by working like 20, 30-hour weeks, just because, like, there's less of a skill gap, right? Like, you're just more just going through the motions, right?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's still like,
He still hustles.
yeah, I'm trying to think exactly
But
what.
actually, Amazon, I heard, like, has a pretty strong work culture, so
Yeah,
it might be
he
different.
also like I'm trying to remember exactly specifically what he does. I don't think he has direct sales. He's like a channel partner.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
I think he definitely used to do tech sales. What he's doing right now at Amazon is more sort of like channel partners.
Oh, okay.
Type role.
Okay.
But yeah, so he like kind of manages like other salespeople and clients and that type of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to generalize, but I do think most people are working 40 hours a week for sure.
Yeah.
Unless you're just like one of those uber competitive people that are like just trying to get promoted like every chance you get.
Mhm.
Like maybe those folks are working like 60 hours a week, but that's
I mean, it depends who you find his work. But, like, I think he's on like a lot of like calls and stuff. He's not
True.
like sitting there like typing stuff or reading stuff. I think his work is a
Yeah.
lot of like meetings and phone calls and that type of thing.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you guys probably have this too, but I do think we like tech is way too many. It's like the meeting. It's like a meetings culture, right? Where
Yeah,
it's like
I've heard
it's
that.
like what the, like dude, like just send out a freaking email,
Yeah.
you know. But I get it because like they want to be sensitive to everyone and get their opinions and like I don't know. There's just that bullshit of the bureaucracy stuff. So yeah, and then some of it's like a hoorah, like let's motivate and like let's get them pumped up to sell more and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons. Honestly, I am like grateful that I think it's a really good career for folks that are, especially from my background, right? Like low income, like didn't go to like a top tier university, and you don't have to have connections. Like you could really make a name for yourself just being like talented.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is possible to get ahead in tech sales and not really have like a lot of connections and obviously like as you go through it like you'll build connections, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you don't necessarily need to have like a hookup to like get into tech sales. You just have to like at least in the beginning maybe just like work harder than everyone else and be somewhat intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I definitely haven't been here. Let me see. So this is it's interesting how there's all these like little islands
Yeah.
like that's the cool thing about this big ass like iPad looking thingy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always when I drive people, I'm always like, oh, I didn't know that island existed.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah, and look how like clear it is now, right? It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like they definitely updated it because it wasn't always like this.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a
golf
golf.
course.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. You can see all the holes. That's cool.
How does the self-driving work with this?
So they gave us a free month of the autopilot thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I used it. It's actually pretty dope. Like it's very.
So can you like? So if you were in like your neighborhood, can you just like turn it on? It will like take you home.
Yeah. So unfortunately, like in Jersey, because like we're like the most densely populated state in. For Route 1, and like switching to Route 1 is just crazy. Um, I would say like the auto driving is probably super solid if you live in like Nevada or like I mean basically anywhere outside of New Jersey it's like better.
Yeah.
So when I did my road trip, I did a 16-day solo road trip where I drove to like Toronto and Montreal and like went to New Hampshire and Vermont, and the perfect time to use the autopilot because you don't have to really pay attention as much. Like,
Make a slight
I'm on the
left turn
phone with my
Union
friends
Avenue.
catching up and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like that was nice. But yeah, I feel like Jersey is like not the best for that because it's a little bit too cautious,
Okay. Yeah.
You could send because most human beings like we go faster than the speed limit. So if it says like if the speed limit's like 25, right? Or right now like it says 40, like most likely it wouldn't go that much faster. So I think the average human being just drives a lot faster than the speed limit.
Yeah, especially
So
in New Jersey.
yeah, so I feel like it wouldn't be that great, but it's great for like minimizing accidents and stuff like that because it's like
Mhm.
overly cautious.
Yeah.
So it's actually probably a lot safer than how I would typically drive. But it is kind of wild where like it'll just merge and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and then the blinker will go on by itself. And so in the beginning, it is weird because you're just not used to the car driving itself.
Mhm.
But it was actually I was pretty amazed by how like advanced it is. Like I'm like, damn, like this is a relatively early stages for the Tesla, and it's did a really good job. So it's just expensive. So you have to pay extra for it.
Okay.
So that's why I decided to
It's not really worth it, right? If you're gonna use it around here.
Yeah, unless you're like you just hate driving and you're just like a horrible driver, then I would say then it would be worth it. But I like speeding up because like the reason why people get Teslas because like the 0 to 60 is like
Yeah, it's
insane,
quick.
right? So the self driving definitely wouldn't do that.
Mhm.
So for me, like part of the fun is, and not when I have passengers because I don't know like what everyone's risk tolerance is, but
Mhm.
if you're the type of dude that's like swerving in and out of lanes and you're like kind of living a little bit more like driving like a race car,
Mhm.
sports car, then I would say like the Tesla is fun.
Mhm.
But if you're, yeah, I I would say like it's good to like if I lived in like Utah or if I lived in Nevada, like certain areas, like
Mhm.
that's probably amazing because you don't have to think at all. You're just chilling. Maybe you're like on your phone
Yeah.
watching TikTok or something. I mean, you're not supposed to,
Yeah. I know you're
but
supposed to pay attention, but
yeah,
yeah, it's people like watching movies and stuff.
yeah. But it does give me hope that like as they perfect it,
Yeah, they've been
it,
saying that for years though.
well, I think the challenge is it's going to be impossible for everyone else to adopt it. But I think what Tesla's smart, I think they're going to sell the IP
Mhm.
to be able to sell that technology so every car can do it eventually.
Mhm.
And once that happens, once like it's like neural networks when all the cars are talking to each other, which will be hard because I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of old cars.
Yeah.
But I think the more cars have it, and then eventually when BMW implements it, and like Audi and everyone else does it,
Mhm.
then that'd be cool. Cause then I can just like chill and
Yeah.
like, just be able to like do work on my laptop or
Mhm.
whatever. But I think yeah, it's gonna take a while for that to happen.
What's like the are these supposed to like longer term? Can these put on like more mileage than like a normal gas car?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
like
well, Tesla is so
continue
new
straight to
that
stay on
there's
Richmond
not
Avenue
enough of
using the
a,
left
a
two
sample
lanes.
size.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Will these last like 200,000 miles? Though,
yeah,
between
dude, people are saying it'll last 1 million miles.
Oh, really?
I mean, that's what some people say. It's just so new that most of the Teslas haven't been able to even get to that point yet. I think most people say like 300, 400,000 is like the most that a lot of these cars have gotten to.
Continue straight to stay on
I mean,
Richmond
shit, at
Avenue.
this rate, I've been driving like a lot lately. I'm like, I'm adding a shit ton of mileage to this car.
Yeah.
But, and the good thing is you don't have to do oil change, so it's like super low maintenance,
Mhm.
which is nice
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's true.
And you don't have to wait, because you're usually charging it overnight,
Mhm.
right? Like in your garage. So you never have to wait at a gas station again. So that's nice.
Yeah. What do you do when you're on like a road trip?
Yeah, so when I did the 16-day road trip, because everyone always asks me, they're like, oh, like what's the charging like? And I'm like, I don't know, because most of the time I'm just
At
leaving it
home,
overnight. But yeah, that now I see why everyone kept asking me because you actually have to like plan everything.
Yeah, because it
It's
takes like a couple hours, right?
it's weird, like it's weird how it works, but I was listening to Elon Musk get interviewed, and I'm like, oh, that's how it works. So the way they describe it is like if the battery's from 0 to 60%, that will be like really fast.
Mhm.
So like that might take like 25 minutes to charge the battery from 0 to 60% full. But from 60 to 80 is like another like 15 minutes, and then from 80 to 100 is like an hour long.
Mhm.
So it's weird. So basically, the way they do when you type it in, the way they do it is um, most of the time because there's so many
In a quarter-mile drop-off, Kevin.
superchargers now, like they're just adding more and more. You'll charge for like 15 minutes here, 26 minutes here, like 18 minutes here, but you're never really charging it. So the optimal, they like you to stay between like 20 to like 80%.
Mhm.
So that's most of the charging. Usually you don't really go from 80 to 100 as much, just the way the technology works.
Drop off, Kevin.
Oh, right here.
Oh yeah, right there.
Oh, maybe I'll
Just pull over right here.
it's fine. Okay. Cool, man. Have fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a good convo. Oh, nice. Got some beers. There you go.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be fun. Oh yeah, yep, up
Right
top.
there.
Yes.
Alright, cool, man.
Cool,
See you
man.
later.
Yep,
Have
see
a
you
good
around.
one.
Take care. Cool. That was a good conversation. We had a decent conversation the whole time. Whoa, this is so beautiful. Holy shit. I'll show you guys. I'm at a beach town right now. Look how chill this is. All right, let me let my wife know. Hey babe, did you just get to the train station? Here, let me call you actually. It's probably easier. Oh. Hey babe. Yeah, I dropped someone off at the beach area, like the Point Pleasant. It sounds like, do you want me to go back, babe?
What?
Did you want me to come back or something?
Yeah.
Why? I need to make money though. Whoa, it's so pretty. Holy shit. Babe, can you hear me?
No, I was freaking out. Can I call back?
Oh, okay. Bye. Okie dokie. Wow, it's so pretty. Oh my God. Yeah, the beach to the right was really nice. All right. Oh, I did a ride today? Oh, right, I did do one today. Wow, so cool to be at the beach. This is nice. Oh man, I can't believe it's almost August. Wow, tomorrow will be August, dude. The summer flew by. So cool. What up? Oh, Rohan changed his picture. I wonder why. You, Uweza, is that how you pronounce it? Uweza, how's everything, man? You still watching? How's life? What's going on? That was cool. Good conversations. All right, I will. Oh man.